like I said, we have a JPEG show for you guys tonight. Um, and I'm just going to go down the list of guests that we have planned out here for all of you tonight. I'm going to start with the typical crew that you hear each and every single week, starting with my fellow co-host. He is the host of TK's Tier List, one of my personal good friends. Is like a brother to me, ladies and gentlemen. TK from his phone in Cuba.
Is he? All right, man. All right. I'm the troll though, bro. I'm the troll though.
The man that actually gave me the idea to do this. He is the host of CFB Talk on this podcast. He's honestly my favorite white boy, at least weekly. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Sean.
It's finally draft day. Not actually. That's next week, the official draft day. But it's mock draft day, which is just as good. It's basically Christmas for us. I'm excited for a great show, big show. Yeah, go Giants.
We also have the host of Sickball Central. If y'all ever have any questions about baseball, he is your guy, Gianni.
I'm excited for the draft tonight. It should be a pretty fun draft. I'm excited.
How could I forget the man that without him, this podcast is not a thing. He is the guy that his iconic grants have gotten him recognized by Complex Sports among other major media outlets. Tolu, I'm not going to try to pronounce your middle name, but I know your middle name now since you love
Oh,
pronouncing everybody else's middle name.
no, no. I'm excited for this draft, everybody. Glad everyone's here. Let's get this draft going.
And filling in for Dezzy, who had multiple teams to choose from. Like I said, she had the medical emergency. So I had to bring in somebody on short notice. And thankfully, there was a very intelligent, passionate Tennessee fan that, he just so happens to watch college football too. Is also just so happens to be a member of my wrestling group chat, RPW. Horace, welcome to We 8 Sports Podcast, my friend.
Hello, I'm Horace and grows insects.
So let's continue on with the list of guests that we have. Starting with the another member of my wrestle group chat, RPW. And he is a great graphic designer, creator of PWN Universe, and a passionate Lions fan. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, it's Nightmare.
Hey, how's it going, guys? I appreciate you guys for having me on here. Go Lions.
We have an OG podcast member, a guy that was a part of the original episodes that we did for this podcast. And his Twitch channel, you can check him out at Space with Base. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to We 8 Sports Podcast. Space.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Feels good to be back.
Ooh.
Representing the Raiders, of
Shut up,
course.
Tolu.
Passionate
Yes, sir.
Las Vegas fan. One person that will be joining us later on to represent the Atlanta Falcons. He has interviewed hot young prospects in the Atlanta area and just happens to be a former winner of We Trivia as well on this podcast. It's Dylan Clearfield. Another person that will be joining us later on. He's representing one of the two Philadelphia Eagle picks tonight. He's a great fan analyst. If you are a Philadelphia sports fan, it's Aidan Doc. Now, I haven't acknowledged them yet formally anyway, but at sooner or later I do have to acknowledge them. And you know what's outside the other troll, at least this guy is another OG podcast member. He says that he's a Patriots fan, but most days you can catch him rooting for the Raiders, or in this case for his Texans. Ladies and gentlemen, it's CC.
Lakers at 5.
We have a super fan of the podcast. He is a fan of the Washington Commanders. Is Noah.
Sam Howell's better than Dak Prescott.
The guy that I think has the most valid credentials here, if you're asking me, because he is a former strength and conditioning head coach for Washington. He is also a state champion in New Jersey and current manager at Anytime Fitness, the guy that has been whooping me into shape as well. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the WHS podcast, Coach Connor.
Glad to be here. And I'll be making my pick for my my Pittsburgh Steelers tonight. Might be looking to trade up a little bit.
We have the guy that has hit singles that, yes, are in my playlist. And yes, I'm very proud of it because they're bangers. Demon Designer, So Stupid, Easy, OG podcast member, the guy that we picked personally to do the intro for this podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Machine Mook.
Hey, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, I got the Ravens winning the Super Bowl. The Lakers are winning the NBA championship. The Dodgers are winning the MLB championship, the World Series. Hell, the Washington Capitals are winning the NHL. I mean, we're just going crazy right now.
Now, I'm gonna be on my best behavior because I have to. But there are pretty much, I think, every fan of the NFC East, the only division representing for all four teams in this episode for tonight. Now there was a wise man that once said to never turn your back on somebody that you respect.
Oh, wow. Wow.
But unfortunately, I have to respect this Cowboys fan for one night only. Ladies and gentlemen, he is a professional troll. It's Gelo.
What's up? What's up? Astros repeating. Cowboys back to the playoffs, making it to the NFC Championship. We
You
gonna start
guys say
playing like
this
that.
every year. You guys say this every year.
Every
It's
single
time to
year,
stop.
bro.
Can you
It's
make it
time
past the
to
divisional
stop.
Every
first?
single
It's
year,
time
man.
to
You
stop.
guys are not
Make it
going
past the divisional
anywhere
first?
as long
Be
as Dak
ready.
is your quarterback.
So now that you've heard each and every single individual voice that we'll listen to tonight for this mock draft, we'll tell you how this actually goes down if you've never actually watched the actual NFL draft. So there will be a timer that'll be put on the clock that you see. It'll appear on my screen right here. And this timer, once it goes off, you will hear this iconic sound. And that'll be an indication that they're ready to give the pick. And they'll give a nice little explanation on who they're drafting and why they're drafting. So without further ado, I think we've wasted enough time with the formalities out of the way. We are going to get started with the 2023 WHS NFL mock draft. Boys, are you ready? The first team that is on the clock with the first overall pick is going to be the team, and the only team, thankfully, that I'm representing tonight is the Carolina Panthers. The Carolina Panthers. I'm only going to put 3 minutes officially on the clock right
Don't even do
now.
that. Just say Bryce Young, bro.
Just go ahead. Yep.
I don't have to waste the rest of this time. Y'all already said who I'm drafting, so we're gonna play that song now. With the first overall pick in 2023 WHS NFL mock draft, the Carolina Panthers select Bryce Young, quarterback from Alabama. This is a no-brainer here for me. It was either going to be Bryce Young or CJ Stroud. And Bryce Young, he just has a lot more intangibles that I think benefits who needs to be the franchise QB going forward in Carolina. And I think Frank Wright, he's going to have a marvelous time coaching Bryce Young. He's going to have a good coaching staff around him. He's going to have a good core around him. This is going to be a multi-year rebuild. So as soon as we get some true weapons around Bryce Young, the sky is the limit, in my opinion, with this team. Yes, he is around the same height as Kyler Murray. But if you give Kyler Murray some protection, we've seen in the past that amounts to something. And if they play their cards right, the Carolina Panthers with Bryce Young, they are going to be a threat in the NFC for many years to come. That is why Bryce Young is officially the first quarterback off the board. Let's head on to number 2 overall. Number 2 overall, the Houston Texans. That belongs to TK. So TK, your Houston
Yes,
Texans
sir.
are
I knew
TK.
TK was a Texans fan whole time.
Anyways, PC, I already know who I'm picking. You can go ahead and press the little.
Damn, you're not gonna listen to my offer?
We brought
wait, any offers?
Oh wait, hold on. Any offers? Oh, okay.
I want to trade.
Who got an
Yes,
offer?
let me trade you. I do. I got you, bro. I promise.
There are plenty of offers
what's
for
the
that
offer?
second pick.
It's gonna be this year's 7th, next year's 1st, our second round, which is 38, 100, and Hunter Renfro. for that pick. What's up?
I got a better deal. I got a better
Talk
package.
to me, bro.
Oh my
Talk
gosh.
to me. He don't got a better package than that. He don't know. He doesn't.
All right.
Talk to me, bro.
All right. Here we go.
I got a better package. I got a better package.
Go ahead. What's the next package?
2 first and Mac Jones.
Yeah, no, that's not happening, bro. That's not happening, bro.
That is-
All right, so anybody else?
Yeah.
Wait, say your pick one more time.
The 7th, so 1 pick after. The 2nd in this round, in this today, which is 38. Next year's 1st, and Hunter Renfrow.
Oh, see, I didn't hear Hunter Renfrow.
That's a
And they
way
do
better
I have to
deal.
stress you out, Houston, but you have a
Texans-
minute 10 to select your pick.
Okay, all
Texans
right.
have
So you know what?
Robert Woods.
I'm
You don't
gonna-
need a slot.
I'm gonna take Space's. I'm gonna take Space's pick. So I'll move from this 2nd to the 7th.
Wow.
That's
All right.
crazy.
So
Turn-
we have
turn the song on.
our
Turn
official
the song on,
first
baby.
trade. We have our
Turn the
first
song on,
official
baby.
trades. The Houston Texans are trading with the Las Vegas Raiders and moving up to that 2nd overall pick. So it looks like new manager, new GM in Las Vegas already making some major moves. And it
Turn that
looks like
song
they
on,
may
baby.
already have their pick ready.
And with the 2nd overall pick in the WHS We podcast, the Las Vegas Raiders select the QB CJ Stroud from the University of Ohio State. They get the quarterback of the future. We may have mortgage a little bit, but hey, we got the weapons for him. Build the team up around him, and we're good.
So, CJ Stroud, especially off the boards. The next team up is going to be represented by Gianni. Gianni, the Arizona Cardinals are officially on the clock.
Gianni, I have a
looking to
trade
trade.
for you. Gianni,
I got a trade.
Okay.
I have a trade as
What's
well.
the
Go
trade?
ahead. He can go first.
All right. My trade is pick 6, pick 18, and our second rounder.
Lions are really trying to move up into the top 5 here.
What about yours, TK?
Yeah, mine's is not going to be that good. I was going to give you the 7th pick. The 2nd this year, I think, was the 38th that Space said, and then I was going to give you another 2nd next year.
I'm gonna take the 6th pick. The trade from the Seahawks or the Lions?
Lions.
Lions? Okay, I accept that deal.
So now the Detroit Lions are officially on the clock at number 3, trading down with the Texans, or excuse me, with the Cardinals. I may have an idea of who they actually want to draft.
With the 3rd pick in the 2023 WHS NFL mock draft, the Detroit Lions select Anthony Richardson, QB, Florida. Yeah, the way I looked at it was, Jared Goff has a year left on his contract. He's going to need to be extended by next year. Richardson's probably not ready to be thrown in the fire just yet, but you go ahead and have probably top 2, top 3 with the Eagles and best O-line, and you got that defense developing. We got CJ from the Eagles, we got Cam Sutton, we got Mosley from the 49ers. So defense is shaping out. We can get that in the later rounds. We needed a QB that can expand the offense a little bit better with Amon-Ra St. Brown, J-Mo. So I thought Richardson would give the Lions the best opportunity to succeed, not only in a couple years when we move on from Goff and possibly get a good deal back from him, but we can throw Richardson in the fire, can learn from Goff, sit behind, and take over the reins then.
Anthony Richardson officially off the clock. And with that, 3 QBs are officially already off the board here in the WHS NFL mock draft. So now let's keep going. Now we're going lightning speed. We're back to TK for the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts are officially on the clock.
You all hear sound issues during this video with the jingle because for some reason the laptop I record on does not like having sound come through. Sorry.
All right. So with the 4th pick in the WHS NFL draft, the Indianapolis Colts selects Will Anderson Jr., Alabama. Look, Sean, I know you wanted me to take the quarterback. I know a lot of people were expecting me to take the quarterback. You guys all know who my top 3 prospects were: CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson was my number one, and then Bryce Young. Unfortunately, all those guys are off the board now. Next year's draft is going to be extremely deep with quarterbacks. Sean is our college football guy. He can tell you this myself whenever we bring up one of his college football talk. Sean, I know I killed you, man. I know exactly what you wanted me to do, and I know exactly what I was going to do when I made this pick. But PC, the reason why I made this pick is like I said, all the top quarterbacks are off the draft, in my opinion. You guys actually know that I have spoke very highly of Will Levis. I think in the right system, he could be a very good quarterback. I just feel like the Indianapolis Colts missing out on their guy. I think they really wanted a CJ Stroud, a Bryce Young, or Anthony Richardson. Why not just take the best defensive player in the draft? And I think the Indianapolis Colts are going to be very, very, very happy with this pick in the long run, because he's hands down the best defensive player in the draft. And like I said, at the fourth pick, that's not a bad place to take him, especially when all the top three prospects at quarterback are taken off the board.
Pick 5, Seattle Seahawks. That is going to be represented by the guy that knows all the college football things. It's Sean. So Sean, it looks like your Seahawks are officially on the clock.
I have a trade for you, Sean.
Me too.
I really don't want to talk to you right now, but I'll listen to your offers. I'll listen to all the offers.
I can trade you the 7th pick, the overall pick that Space gave me. I'll give you the 38th. I'll give you 2 seconds from this draft, and I'll give you a 3rd next year. So you get a 1st this year, 2 seconds, and a 3rd.
Interesting. Your offer, Horace?
1st this year and our 1st next year with our 2 this year.
All right, so those are both like really good offers. But first, before I accept any trade, I just want to rant first. TK, who hypes up Will Levis more than anybody else, he's Will Levis' #1 fan, isn't willing to put his money where his mouth is and draft him number 4 overall to the Colts, who need a quarterback more than almost anyone. They're stuck with Gardner Minshew right now, and he drafts a pass rusher. The Seahawks are heartbroken. They were going to run to the podium with Will Anderson Jr. on the card. I'm going to accept TK's trade for number 7 overall, 2 seconds this year, and a 3rd next year.
So the Texans, they've been doing a lot of trading in this draft. It looks like they're officially from moving down, moving back up once again to the number 5 overall pick. It looks like they might have moves in store here.
With the 5th pick in the WHS NFL draft, the Houston Texans select Jalen Carter from Georgia. Basically, this is I know I'm breaking hearts again, honestly. I think at this point in the NFL draft, not that all of the top prospect quarterbacks are off the draft. I think a lot of teams are going to start looking to build on their defense. Jalen Carter, I believe, is the 2nd best defender in the draft this year. And like I said, the Texans, we all know DeMeco Ryans is the defensive first guy. He's going to want to come in there. He's going to want to put his mark on that defense. You add a guy like Jalen Carter, who, like I said, I think is the 2nd best defender in the draft. He's instantly ready to come and be a starter. He's great against the run. And he just does a lot of good things. Like I said, DeMeco Ryans is going to want to put his #1 thing when he steps into the building is going to be that defense. And he's going to be able to build it from the ground up. I think that's going to be really exciting as well. And like I said, when you can add one of the best defenders in the draft to your team, a team that I don't want to say that the Texans are rebuilding, but I can't think of another word to use for the Texans. But Jalen Carter is the perfect pick. I think you end up moving up for a guy like that. I think he's worth it. It was either going to be him or Tyree Wilson for me, but Jalen Carter still being on the board. I think as a Texas, you have to move up and you have to make that pick.
So after all that, the top 5 is officially filled out. So we still have a whole lot of draft to go. Let's go now to the 6th overall selection. I believe now is the Cardinals. The Cardinals, we'll say that is back to you, Gianni.
With the 6th pick of the 2023 WHS mock draft, the Arizona Cardinals select edge rusher Tyree Wilson from Texas Tech. My breakdown for it really is that they need a pass rusher. They need an edge rusher. They had J.J. Watt, Zach Allen. They both left and everything. So, in my opinion, right now, with the way the Cardinals' defense is looking, they need an edge rusher pretty badly. That defense with Gannon and everything needs to do a lot of work with that defense. And I think this is the safe pick and the best pick for them right now to start rebuilding that defense from the top up.
So it's back to the Seahawks with the number 7 overall pick.
I'm not having fun anymore. I'm not having a good time. I was sniped once again. I was really hoping Gianni would go cornerback at number 6 overall with the Cardinals, but he had to take Tyree Wilson. Is anyone looking to trade up for one of these cornerbacks? I know there's some cornerback needy teams.
A one and a two.
You're the Tennessee Titans, right?
Yes.
Ooh,
That's the best you're gonna get.
that's the best you're gonna get. Period.
Give me a 4 next year.
Okay.
All right, we got a deal.
I wasn't getting up on that.
Wow.
So
Giving up
we
a
have
fourth next year.
another trade down from Seattle Seahawks who did not like who was on the board or who was remaining on the board anyway. They are trading down with the Tennessee Titans. So now the Tennessee Titans, who were 11 overall, are moving up to number 7 overall.
So they are right now on the last year of a bad deal with Ryan. So we're gonna go ahead and draft that quarterback of the future, and quarterback will out of Kentucky will leave us.
Will Levis.
Please talk highly of Will Levis. Respect my GOAT when you talk about him right now. Okay.
I will say
real
this.
life
I will
trash.
say this. The scouting reports that we keep hearing about Will Levis been nothing short of well, athleticism out the behind with Will Levis. At least that's
They
what
be
we keep
capping.
hearing.
They are
You know,
capping.
and
Is he TK's GOAT? Is he TK's GOAT, but he didn't pick him?
No, he's
That's
TK's
exactly
GOAT, but he
what I'm
did not
saying.
pick him.
I did
This
not
man
pick
is
him for the
no
Colts
good.
Passed on
because it
him
was not
with
the
Colts,
right
who
quarterback
need
for
a
the Colts.
quarterback. You are
So
not
who was
allowed
the
to
right
hype him up
quarterback for the
anymore,
Colts?
TK. You're done.
No.
What
Now,
are you, Sean?
all
You're
right,
just
question.
mad because Jalen Carter wasn't there for you to pick him up, dude.
I
Or
didn't
not
want
Jalen Carter,
Jalen
but
Carter.
Will Anderson. You're
I
just
didn't want
mad.
Jalen Carter.
Back
Too
in
much
Rabbits.
too much off the field problems. I wanted Will Anderson, and you should have taken Will Levis, but you're a fraud.
Oh, brother. But the
Get
class
cooked.
is so much better
Get
next year.
cooked. Get cooked. Will Levis is a fraud. Will Levis is going to be out the league in 2 years. He's a fraud.
Okay, Tolu, shut up. Let
My
PC
goodness.
speak.
Heading to
Another
Tennessee
QB with no weapons.
with the 8th overall pick. It looks like the Atlanta Falcons are officially on the clock. With the 8th overall pick in WHS NFL mock draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Christian Gonzalez, cornerback from Oregon. Thinking theoretically speaking for Dylan right now, a CB to pair up with AJ Terrell, who is I think destined to be a Pro Bowler this upcoming season. It's a fair choice, and with so many players, top players already taken off, with so many teams that have moved up in the draft in this mock draft. The Atlanta Falcons, they decided to go with the best player available defensively to help their team, and that will be one Christian Gonzalez. Again, another guy that I wanted for my Eagles, but Christian Gonzalez heading to A-Town to play for the Falcons. So let's just keep the train rolling. We're going now to UTK, your Chicago Bears. Chicago Bears, who've been stagnant. They haven't gotten any offers, haven't tried to move up. They moved down for that pick. They are officially on the clock with the 9th overall pick.
With the 9th pick in the WHS NFL draft, the Chicago Bears select wide receiver from Ohio State, Jackson Smith-Njigba. Really with the Chicago Bears, bro, you're kind of playing with house money here. They loaded up on a ton of draft picks for the future. I went with this pick because I just feel like you have to build around Judson. I understand the offensive line is still a problem. They didn't really do too much in the offseason. I feel like with the 9th pick, there isn't a offensive lineman worth the 9th pick right now. I still think they'll be able to get some in later drafts. But you get a chance to grab a weapon for Justin Fields. Put him next to DJ Moore, which I think is going to be absolutely insane. I mean, you're possibly talking about by the end of the season, probably one of the top 5 duos in the league if he can stay healthy, of course. Just build around Justin Fields. I'll continue to surround him with weapons. Another pick that I was thinking about doing, but I just feel like it was too soon. PC was a Bijan Robinson. They just lost their running back to the Lions. So I think that's going to be. We all know how important it is to have a running back there. But like I said, I think it's just too high a pick for a Bijan Robinson right now. So go ahead and grab Jackson Smith-Njigba and let him and DJ Moore work.
Jackson Smith-Njigba heading to the Bears. Now with the 10th overall pick, we have the Philadelphia Eagles now officially on the board. This pick was inspired by Aidan Doc, who unfortunately couldn't be here at this time. But once again, this is a pick inspired by him. He has his selection ready. Let's go ahead and get to with the 10th overall pick in 2023 WHS NFL mock draft. The Philadelphia Eagles select Nolan Smith, edge rusher from Georgia. There were a lot of defensive options we could have gone with. There have been plenty of options in terms of edge rusher for the Eagles. At one point, there were a lot of people that said Luke Van Ness from Iowa was going to be our draft selection, but obviously with the top 10 filled out with a lot of teams that weren't in the top 10, the Eagles, they didn't have to rush, they didn't have to sit back, they didn't do anything. They went ahead with the guy that sort of fell into the laps. It's not Jalen Carter, but it's still on a championship caliber team, on championship caliber defense for Georgia. Nolan Smith, you are a Philadelphia Eagle.
With the 11th pick in the We Hate Sports 2023 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select offensive lineman Peter Skoronski. Peter Skoronski next to Charles Cross at left guard. Great offensive lineman duo for the next decade in back-to-back drafts. I think Seahawks should be very happy with this pick. Protecting Geno Smith, pushing the pocket for Kenneth Walker. I think in general, they're building the trenches. This is going to be a very good pick for the Seattle Seahawks.
With the 12th overall pick of the 2023 mock draft, the Houston Texans select TCU wide receiver Quentin Johnson. They lost Brandon Cooks. I think this is like a good step for them with no quarterback really, because all the quarterbacks went on top. I think next year's draft, they can get another, like maybe a quarterback and stuff in the top 5. But I think they need to get some weapons, build on that. And I think this is like the step at the right direction.
I'm going to trade with the Green Bay Packers. The Jets offer a 2023, their first round pick this year, their second round pick, their first round pick in 2024 next year, their first round pick in 2025, and a second round pick for Aaron Rodgers. They finally get their quarterback they were desperately needing, and I know the Jets, they're stupid, they're desperate, they got to get this done. The Packers have all the leverage, and they get Aaron Rodgers because they're going to overpay for him because they're desperate, because they can't go in another season with Zach Wilson. So they're going to overpay for Aaron Rodgers. The Green Bay Packers get 2 first-round picks, and the Jets finally get the quarterback they've been on their knees for since I don't even know how long. With the 13th pick in the We Hate Sports draft, the Green Bay Packers select Michael Mayer, Notre Dame tight end from Notre Dame, because the Packers need weapons around Jordan Love, and Myers is a good fit because he's a good receiver and he's a good run blocker. So I think he'd fit good with Green Bay.
And with the 14th pick in the WHS NFL draft, the New England Patriots select Joey Porter, Penn State.
I knew he was going to pick Joey Porter. I knew he was going to pick him.
I was going to go Christian Gonzalez, but somebody swooped him. So
with the 3 WHS draft, the Washington Commanders select Devon Witherspoon from Illinois. I think he is the second best corner out of this draft. Very physical. He ran, I believe, was like a 4.42. He's fast. He's 6 feet tall. It's a great pairing for him and Benjamin St. Juste. It's something we really needed other than the quarterback position, but, there's nothing we can really do about that.
with the 16th pick in the We Hate Sports 2023 NFL Draft. Packers select Paris Johnson Jr., offensive tackle, Ohio State, because he will back up veteran tackle David Tiari, I think his name is. So I think that will allow Enton Jenkins to play his natural position, guard, and that offers more protection for Jordan Love because you got to protect your franchise.
With the 17th pick in the WHS NFL mock draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Broderick Jones. Honestly, Steelers have a very young offense, picked up a couple of good offensive linemen in free agency. Would have loved to snag one of those top corners, but we do have the first pick in the second round, and I think there are a few corners that are going to drop fairly late. Defense is looking great. They signed Keanu Neal. They got Watt, a healthy defense. They're solid. So I think getting Kenny a little more protection going into his second year with a very young offense that's developing is the way to go there.
And Connor, just confirm the game is won where?
In the trenches.
There you go.
Okay, so with the 18th pick in the WHS NFL draft, not San Diego, the Los Angeles Chargers select. Gelo, you ready for this, bro? You ready to get mad? Bijan Robinson, running back from Texas. All right, so Austin Eckler. We all heard the reports. It doesn't look like he'll be back as a Charger this year. He asked to be traded. Right now, it looks like there's probably some teams working around the draft to trade for him, maybe, because right now there's really no reports coming out as far as his trade. But we all know he wants to be out, and he stated himself from his own mouth that he doesn't. The worst case scenario, would be for him to be back with the Chargers. You add a guy like Bijan Robinson, the best running back in the class. I think we all agree, hands down, it's really not close. It's Bijan Robinson, and then it's everyone else. Who's probably the highest graded running back prospect. And Sean, you're the football guy, so if I'm wrong, since probably Saquon Barkley, I don't think we've had a running back this highly touted since Saquon Barkley. We all saw how that turned out. Yeah, Chargers are going to be a very dangerous team with this guy, especially if a guy like Bijan Robinson can stay healthy. The Chargers happily move up to take a guy like him.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead with the 19th pick Brian Branch, safety, Alabama. He fits right into the big gaping hole in that Tampa Bay defense, and it's easy slam dunk pick.
With the 20th pick in the We Hate Sports NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select edge rusher Myles Murphy out of Clemson. He's not Tyree Wilson. He's not Will Anderson, who I actually wanted, but he's the next best thing in this draft. He's a great pass rusher, great run defender, and PC. Remind me again, where do you win?
In the trenches.
In the trenches. That's what I thought. And the Seahawks are escaping this draft with 2 trench players in the first round.
With the 21st pick in the WHS NFL mock draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Jordan Addison, wide receiver, USC.
I knew it.
That's a great pick. God.
Because he was teammates with Kenny Pickett. He's not sick.
Not one, but 2.
God damn it. That's freaking loud.
Because he was teammates with Kenny Pickett. That's why he did that. Slick.
Pickens and Addison.
That's a
great 1-2 punch.
A little more use.
Especially since he gave up Deontay Johnson. He got a really upgrade immediately. Yeah.
So explain the pick. So explain.
With Pickens. And then we still have that first pick in the second round, which we can still use on a cornerback, that we can, whether, whoever's available. So yeah, I'm excited. That brings our offense down. I think that brings our entire offense under 25 years old. It's a bright future for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
All right. So we're gonna go. I feel like we have a lot of. I think we have a lot of talent all over. We have a very balanced roster, but one thing we don't have is a roster. Is some weapons. So we're gonna take Zay Flowers with this pick.
Yes.
We're gonna take Zay Flowers.
Yes, Mookie. Yes. Antonio Brown 2.0 right there. If you don't know about Zay Flowers, watch him. He's Antonio Brown 2.0. Respect him. Yes, sir, Mookie. Yes, sir.
Whoa.
Okay, Antonio Brown 2.0
bro.
is just
2.0 is
insane.
Yes,
crazy.
he's
I've never
AB
heard of
2.0. He's AB 2.0.
Yes,
5
That's
weeks. Stop. He's AB 2.0. Watch
All right.
this.
So there are a lot of people excited for this pick. Mook, explain this pick. Explain Zay Flowers, because to the audience that may not know him.
He's shown flashes that he is dynamic. He can be a difference maker on the field. Good hands. I feel like this last year he had his career highs, college career high with touchdowns, 12. So I mean, it's really we just need weapons, and we're gonna take the best talent we can see on the board.
With the 23rd pick in the We Hate Sports draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Hendon Hooker, quarterback, Tennessee.
Wow. All right.
QB1.
QB1 because Kirk
All
Cousins.
honesty, that's not a bad pick. That is not a bad pick. All honesty.
Because Kirk Cousins is
I don't
entering
think
contract year, and the Minnesota Vikings have a pretty good roster, so they're going to go out of quarterbacks in the 2024 NFL draft. And Kirk Cousins, we all know he doesn't have what it takes in the playoffs, and Hendon Hooker is ready. I think he's better than Kirk Cousins right now. So I'm picking Hendon Hooker to the Vikings.
This pick was by Horace. Horace, he'll be back later on for the Bills pick, but as for right now, he asked me to do a selection for the Jaguars here. With 24th overall pick in WHS NFL mock draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars select Lucas Van Ness, edge rusher from Iowa. I mean, this is solid selection as you're going to get. This guy was at one point expected to go 10th overall to the Eagles. So obviously there are a lot of people that are pretty high on this kid. And for the Jaguars, I mean, they already have a pretty a rebuilding defense that we saw flashes of how great they could be this past season. It's a young team, it's a young defense, and Lucas Van Ness, he's only going to add to that. He's only going to add more production. So he goes 24th overall to the Jaguars.
Anybody whose nickname is Hercules has to end up being a pretty good player.
I would say so. I would say so.
25th overall pick in the We Hate Sports NFL draft, the New York Giants select Deontay Banks, cornerback out of Maryland. Very aggressive, very physical, athletic. He is flawed. I don't love this pick at 25 overall, but there really weren't much better options. I was really hoping one of the wide receivers fell to me. Addison and Zay Flowers both went back to back. Thank you so much for that, Mook. I appreciate it. So of the options I did have, I think this was the best one. I think he can plug in immediately next to Adoree Jackson as our CB2 and hopefully eventually grow into that CB1. He has a very high ceiling. He has all the physical tools you could ask for. It's just developing his technique more. He's a pretty new to the game, redshirt junior, I believe. I have faith if this is the direction they go, it can end up being a very good pick. But there's some risk involved. So
for this pick, for the WHS 2023 NFL mock draft, we're not going to go running back. We're actually going to go with Osiris Torrance, offensive guard, Florida. I chose this pick, really solid pick. He hasn't had a sack all 4 years of his college career. SEC, he hasn't had a sack. He didn't have a sack in the SEC. 11 games, 698 snaps. His regular position is a right guard, but he's also played left guard as well, so we can move him to left guard, especially with the loss of Connor McGovern. So it's going to be a pretty solid pick for us, and we're going to go ahead and roll with that.
So I'm going to draft the best tackle in the draft by far. It's not close. Darnell Wright, Tennessee. So he went up against everybody's top edge in the draft, and he couldn't even get by him.
With the 28th pick in the We Hate Sports NFL draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select tight end Darnell Washington out of Georgia. Insane athlete, absolute freak. He's 6'6", 260 pounds, and yet he ran a 4.64. This guy isn't human. I believe he's of a different species. He's not from this planet. You can't build this guy in a lab. So yeah, the Bengals, they need help with their blocking, but they could also use some help at tight end. I think Darnell Washington's a perfect fit because he helps both of those areas. He's basically a sixth offensive lineman that could also run like a wide receiver. Amazing fit. He'd fit in perfectly right next to Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon. That offense becomes even more unstoppable than it already was. If the Bengals get this guy, it's scary season for the AFC.
With the 29th pick in the We Hate Sports NFL Draft, the New Orleans Saints select Mozzie Smith, defensive tackle from the disgusting Michigan Wolverines. He is an athletic freak, and they need to bulk up that defensive lineman, and I think he's a perfect fit in New Orleans.
With the 30th pick in the 2023 WHS mock draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Brian Brees, defensive lineman from Clemson. This is a pick that is going to make the defensive line much stronger. There's like other linebackers that they lost in the middle of the field, basically. But I feel like this defensive line being more stronger, I think will make this team even better. Like 70 sacks last season. Who knows how much it could be this season? It might regress a little bit, but I think we're going to be pretty loaded there.
All good things must come to an end. 31st overall, the Kansas City Chiefs are the last team that is on the clock for this mock draft. Ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed it. Super Bowl champions, we all know Mahomes, Super Bowl MVP, overall NFL MVP, after losing Tyreek Hill. Andy Reid gets his second title. Travis Kelce gets his second title. So, Gianni, like I said, you have the honors, my friend. You are the last pick in this mock draft. So, who do you have for the Chiefs?
I'll give you my second this year and my second next year, and my third this year and my fourth next year.
Okay, I'll take that one.
What team was that?
I agree with
Commanders.
Okay, so the Commanders, they're moving up to take the last pick in this first round.
With the 31st pick in the WHS 2023 draft, I'm selecting Dalton Kincaid. I think for Sam Howell, he's going to be the perfect safety blanket. He reminds me a lot, and he's been compared to Zach Ertz. And when Carson Wentz had his MVP year, he had his safety blanket, and we've been struggling at the tight end position for a very long time. And I believe that he is the best tight end in this draft, for sure. He lacks blocking, but we have two blocking tight ends, so that's not something we need. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy to get this pick at 31.
So that does it. That does it for the 2023 WHS NFL mock draft, ladies and gentlemen. And what's a first round mock draft it was. I think we saw a lot of twists, we saw a lot of turns, we saw a lot of shocks. We gave you everything that you said, or that we said you were going to see in this mock draft this year. I've been PC, your MC for this week's episode. Bye, everybody. Have a good night.
Y'all have a good one.
Hey guys, it's PC here. I know we haven't done one of these in a while, so if you stick around all the way until the very end, thank you all for listening and watching this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and of course subscribe. Check out our audio EPs in the description below as well. I sound a little bit congested. It's because I am. But we're back, baby. We're back!